I call this meeting to order. First order of business, we need approval of today's agenda.
I make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, today's agenda is approved. Same procedure for minutes. If you've all reviewed the minutes from last time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I so moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. New business, civil service clerk. Do we have any good candidates?
Well, I will throw my hat in the ring here. Your Civil Service Commission Rule 1.1 requires that you appoint a clerk each year. So I'd respectfully request that you appoint me as the HR director to be your clerk for the next year.
I make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That was tough.
Yeah.
It
It was a nail biter.
is. This one's the hard
Call
one.
you landslide here.
Yeah. We need some campaign speeches.
No, we don't. Are you running for something?
Okay, second commission chair and vice chair all at once?
You can certainly do that. So same rule applies here. Rule 1.1 requires that you elect a chair and vice chair each year.
Okay. I see, unless anybody has an objection, we can do it as one motion.
Fine.
I'd entertain a motion.
I moved the same officers as last year.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you want the job?
Yeah, it's either this or nothing, you know. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, carried. Old business? Okay, certification lists.
Okay, so our first list up for certification is our Compost Equipment Operator 2, which is a promotional position at our compost facility. We had a written exam weighted at 30% and a practical weighted at 70%. Candidates need to have 2 years of experience operating large front-end loaders, yard waste grinding equipment, monitoring composting equipment operation, driving trucks, tractors, and performing moisture balance and compost process operations mixing, monitoring and testing, or an equivalent. They need to have a Class B CDL and obtain a Class A within 6 months of hire, and may be required to pass a State of Iowa certification. And then we have our standard physical background check and residency requirements. So we had 5 applicants. Those applicants were all qualified and invited to the written exam. 1 did not show. That left us with 4 candidates. All 4 passed the written and were invited to participate in the practical. And then with the practical, we had 1 candidate score below 70%. 3 candidates passed the practical and are on the list to be certified. And we have our stats. Okay. Next, we move on to our maintenance mechanic, which is an entry-level position at our water pollution control plant. The written exam was weighted at 100%. So applicants need to have a high school diploma or GED equivalent, have 3 years of experience as a maintenance mechanic or stationary engineer, have a valid driver's license, and obtain their Class B CDL with air brake endorsement within 6 months. We had 7 applicants, 3 which were qualified and invited to the written exam. 1 did not show, leaving us with 2 candidates, both passing the exam. 1 candidate passed the background check. 1 was an internal applicant, so they already previously passed that background check, leaving us with 2 candidates on the list to be certified. And then we have our stats.
I have a question.
Sure.
It appears so far that the majority of our candidates and qualified people are white males.
It's definitely something we continue to work on. It is very important to us with HR. This is an entry-level position. When it comes to promotional positions, we are working with our internal staff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is our mechanic position, which is in the Fleet Division of Public Works, and the written exam was weighted at 100%. They need a high school diploma or GED equivalent, have 1 year of training or experience in automotive repair, possess a driver's license, and obtain their Class B CDL with air brake endorsement within 90 days, and must possess personal tools. Yes,
Is it usual to have your own tools?
it typically is, but let me bring Jim Irwin up. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
Jim Irwin, Fleet Division Manager. It is standard typically across the industry to bring your own tools as a mechanic in fleet shops. They also get a tool allowance every year as a mechanic for tool procurement.
What if somebody were qualified but didn't have personal tools? Do we have way to help that?
We have not experienced that in my tenure here as a fleet manager. It's a requirement to have some kind of tools. We can help out with the tool crib that we have, but you're going to have to be self-sufficient in your tools, with your tools.
And then with them also having that tool allowance would assist them as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we had 6 applicants, 5 were qualified and invited to the written exam, 3 did not show. 2 candidates passed the written, and both passed the background check and are on the list to be certified. And then we have our stats. Next is our Packer driver loader, which is an entry-level position in solid waste, and we had a 30-70 split. So they do need to have a high school diploma or GED, 1 year of experience operating solid waste vehicles and equipment or related automotive equipment, with collection experience preferred, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. They do need to have a Class B CDL with air brake endorsement. And then again, we have our standard physical, background, and residency requirements. So for this position, we had 20 applicants. 11 candidates were qualified and invited to the written exam. 1 withdrew, and 3 did not show, leaving us with 7 that took the written exam. They all passed and were invited to the interview. Those 7 candidates passed the interview, the background check, and are on the list to be certified.
If I can ask, going back to compost equipment operator, it says practical exam. What is a practical exam?
Sure, they're actually operating a piece of equipment that they would use in that position, and all candidates are also given the opportunity to practice in that piece of equipment before they start. So it's an end loader with a large bucket on it, and they are going through several courses to demonstrate that they can actually operate that vehicle.
That makes a lot of sense. I guess the other question would be, why wouldn't you have that in a number of other ones where they,
Sure,
truck
so,
drivers, for example?
yep, so the difference is, I'm gonna go ahead and refer to Packer driver loader as an example. For the compost equipment operator, they need to have a Class B CDL. So they have not gone through the formal training, or some have not gone through the formal training and actually passed the DOT exam. For this position, because it is required to have a Class B upon application, we do know that they've already been approved by the DOT to drive similar trucks. And it is more specialized equipment at compost as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, that brings us to the sewer maintenance worker, which is a promotional position in our sewer division. The written exam was weighted at 100%. So applicants need to have 1 year of experience as a general laborer, have or possess and maintain throughout duration of employment a CDL, Class B with air brake and tanker endorsement, and again, background check, physical, and residency requirements. We had 2 applicants, one which was qualified. That applicant took the written exam, passed, and is on the list to be certified. And then we have our stats.
So why would this one just be 100% written as opposed to practical, particularly where it's a promotional one?
Yep, it is promotional. However, it is a step 2 from an entry-level position. So we're not training them to become, or to be in like a supervisor position. So for the most part, a written for us is definitely applicable to this position. And I do work with the hiring manager as well to figure out what the best testing process is for these particular positions.
Oh, yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. For our entire sewer division, once you're beyond a laborer, once you have a sewer basically in your job title, you're required to be independently on call. So the testing does kind of verify if they've learned enough in the laborer position to be independently on call for after-hours emergencies.
But according to this, if it's just strictly written, you may know how to do it, but you may not be all that great at equipment.
Well, but during their labor, they are trained on every piece of equipment throughout their position when they're in the entry level into
Well, I
sewers.
understand,
So, okay,
that's
yeah.
fine. But I guess it just seems like there should be some
Component of both.
component of practical or something like that in it, because, again, I've known some people that are very good at test takers and some that aren't, but, and again, maybe reversed with actually as effective operating the equipment or, again, working with others.
Yep, and as Gina mentioned, kind of each supervisor kind of bases the testing process, whether it be practical or written, based on what their expectations are that the person can do immediately when they start the position versus what we have time to train them on. Yep.
I guess I just think there should be some.
We can definitely look into that for future consideration. Okay, and then our stats. Any questions?
We ask you questions.
Yeah.
You know, why women apply or different races apply and everything. Across business, there's always comparables. Everybody looks at each other. Is that true in cities? In other words, are there any, how to say what I want, information shared? Say, okay, here we are interviewing, we're doing this. What about another city? I mean, is there like an industry standard that you look at and go, we're above or below, or that?
I wouldn't say necessarily that we would share our statistics for who we're interviewing and things like that. That's not something we would share across different cities. I think everywhere we are looking at our DEI statistics and different things like that, and certainly promoting those things. With us, it is very important to be reaching out and not just advertising in the same places over and over again, because you can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. So finding the diversity in advertising and marketing, using employees too to be out there and looking at different places to recruit and helping us recruit themselves. Word of mouth is pretty powerful. I guess in my head, if we, this is a goal that will always be on our plates. This is something we will never stop trying to do because diversity is very important. We should reflect our community. So I don't have necessarily a statistical answer. It's something we look at. We're required to keep those statistics and report them on a regular basis as far as with the government, but not necessarily shared recruitment by recruitment with other
I wouldn't
places.
think that, but just in other words, our size city, is there ever any information? How do we compare just with others for percent of minorities or women or any types of things?
I can certainly look into something like that.
Okay, so you see that.
Yep.
Because it seems to me like Davenport does a pretty good job of that.
And something I would like to add that I'm very proud of as well is you can tell that our diversity recruitments are starting to work because these two applicants are newer employees, and you have African-American and Hispanic on the two that actually applied. So it is going to be a slow process, but it's definitely working, I believe, too.
And this is a promotion.
This is promotional, so these are two applicants we
They're gonna
have.
stick around for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I had a question.
sure.
With the Packer driver loader, I noticed that you have quite a few people that didn't meet the minimum qualifications.
Correct.
Is that was it, when you say they didn't meet the minimum qualifications, was it the 1 year of successful experience operating solid waste collection vehicles? Was that the minimum qualifications
So-
that they did not meet?
I can't tell you exactly why or why each candidate did not meet it, but primarily for this position has to do with the CDL requirements.
Oh, okay.
But they can go back and get a CDL and then come apply again.
100%, yes.
We're all learning every month. Okay, any other questions?
I guess the other one, a couple of these, you have young or you have older. You don't have any middle ground employees. So just an interesting observation.
What do you define as older?
Watch it there. We're getting into territory.
And you did mention that you didn't have any other jobs besides this. We have other positions available throughout the city.
Pat, these two are gonna need a lawyer.
I know. I'm listening, we're listening.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, entertain a motion then to approve the certification list as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
everyone in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions, or anything? Okay.
I move that we adjourn this long and difficult meeting.
Accept the motion. Second?
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned until Wednesday, February 8th.
All right.
Well, we did go 2 minutes over our